Hi, sweeties. How are you all doing? I am going to start by apologizing. I am very sorry. I have been away for 1 week and it is not my own making. YouTube got my account, my channel on probation. Like I could not post, I couldn't do anything for 1 week. And I am going to say, please kindly follow my backup channel because anything can happen to this channel. They have been reporting my account, my channel back to back, back to back, back to back. And I want to ask, is there something that I said that it's not true? Everything that I have been posting on this channel happened. It's not like they did not happen or I am making them up. I did not make anything up. So please kindly follow my backup channel. I am begging you, please. I am pleading with you. With that being said, you see this video I am about to roll. I don't think I need to say anything. I am just gonna let this video roll so we all can watch it together and come back to talk about it. And you know what? Stay glued to the screen. Let me know what you all think in the comment section about this video. With that being said, let me roll the clip.
This lawyer expressed a view we heard most often.
We find there is a reluctance upon the part of too many Negroes, particularly among the young, to take the hard and remunerative jobs that must be necessary to earn a living. There is a feeling that for some reason somebody owes them a living.
Just about half of whites in our survey said the Negro has not made more progress because he has not worked hard enough. Only 15% blames discrimination. Some had no opinion.
I feel that they're basically lazy. When this summer, for example, opportunity was given to them to better themselves in getting as many jobs as possible in various fields of retail, wholesale, and they don't take the full advantage of accepting the responsibility of going out for these jobs. They feel that they're not good enough for them.
About half of whites agreed with this woman, that Negroes tend to be lazy more than whites. And this woman mentioned another charge against Negroes, that they have low morals.
Their sex problem, let's face it now, how many white people have 10 illegitimate children? Very few, very few. This seems to be a trend with them. And I often wondered, what happens to these here men who follow these children? Are they busy making babies elsewhere, or are they busy in a civil rights march yelling for their civil rights?
And 4 out of 10 whites in our survey agreed that Negroes more than whites have low moral standards. However, half or more of whites disagree with some of the views you have just heard. For example, they reject the idea that Negroes are more likely than whites to have low morals. But for the moment, we're concentrating on attitudes opposed to racial integration. In Chicago, we talked with a group of whites who call themselves lower middle class. They are worried about Negroes moving into their neighborhood.
And they are not responsible citizens. Until they live like we are, we don't want them.
I don't want to live with me, to tell you the truth. Whether they take care of it or not, I don't want to live with them. Because they ran away from them. And if I wanted to live with them, I wouldn't be paying high taxes like I am. I would have stayed where I was.
More than half of whites in our survey believe Negroes are more likely than whites to run down their own neighborhoods.
In the South, they throw the garbage out of the window and the pigs come and eat it. Here they throw the garbage out of the window and no pigs come and eat it.
In general, are Negroes as civilized as whites? 43% of whites said no, Negroes are not as civilized.
It's his image that he's building. They act like savages, like animals. They kill each other, they rape and they rob. When there's a riot, well, they wouldn't burn their own places. They had signs all over. Soul Brother. It made no difference. They robbed, raped, plundered, looted their own people.
What?
Okay, we're gonna pause it here. And they started with that black people are lazy. I have said this several times and I am gonna keep saying it and I will not stop saying it. Do you know the truth? Black people are not lazy. Do you want to, I don't know, there is no need for argument. Black people, I am a black person, right? And I know what we can do. We are the epitome of hustle. We hustle hard. I mean, we hustle. I don't know how to say it, but if hustling is a living, we hustle for a living. Money got to be made. That is something I know about black people. You see money, money got to be made. That is us. So anybody, if you hear anywhere like that black people are lazy, it is just white lies. And that is what it is. I have said it several times. And she talked about moral standard. Black people do not have moral standards. And I want to ask them, are they the ones that have moral standards? Are they? Where am I going to start when it comes to moral standards? They say black people are killing themselves. They are. I want to ask, who are those that are lynching people out there? Who are they? Who were the people eating people still to this very moment? They call black people uncivilized, right? But when I look at it, black people are very civilized. They are the ones that are not civilized. Quote me anywhere. They keep calling black people, yo, you all are uncivilized. Now you see why they do not want black people in their community. That's why to this very moment, they keep creating problems. Problems in, out, in, out. Right? Like, like, how do you wake up to say black people are lazy? How? Where did you get that? Like, who actually told you that? They do not want to take their job seriously, that they've got so many opportunities. Which opportunity? The retail, the store, the whatever, and they do not make an opportunity. Like, did I hear you right? Huh? Anyways, let's continue because this is not there. Here we go.
Presenting Real Talkers Education. 15-part series on the American progress toward change, equity, and equality.
The CBS News poll was conducted between May 22nd and June 16th of this year. This was the period when the Poor People's March was in Washington, if your memory needs a checkpoint. The Opinion Research Corporation, commissioned by CBS News, conducted personal interviews with a nationwide sample of whites and blacks. Whites asked questions of whites, black people interviewed blacks. The survey is based on a sample of 1,000 people. Like most surveys of this kind, the figures we report are accurate to within a few percentage points, and they reflect the general feeling across the country. Our poll is quite different from a political poll. People change their minds very quickly about candidates and issues, but on basic issues involving race, minds change slowly. On attitudes toward race tension, the CBS News poll checks out with earlier surveys on the same subject.
A great deal of the supposed dialogue going on between the races has become monologue. Say race relations to most white people, and they want to talk about riots. Say race relations to most black people, and they want to talk about discrimination or white racism. There are two great fears haunting this nation. White people fear something they call black extremism. Black people fear something they call white racism. The balance of this broadcast addresses itself to these two fears and to some common ground we found between the races. We're going to measure white racism first, black extremism second, and then we'll talk about some hopeful signs in the common ground. First, the extremes. First, the measure of what the black community fears most: opposition to equal rights for Negroes, prejudice, and racism, defined generally as an assumption of superiority and discrimination with overtones of hostility. Hal Walker discusses this extreme in the American mind.
We begin with white attitudes that underline the racial problem. The white of today is being asked to answer for history. This Midwestern housewife, like a lot of white Americans, does not think the Negro should present history's bill to her.
We hear so much about the slavery, 300 years ago our grandfathers were slaves, or 200 years ago our grandfathers were slaves. Well, for God's sakes, did we have anything to do with that? I had no part in it. I had no slaves. My folks didn't. My grandparents didn't. Are they blaming us for what happened 3 years ago? Let's forget the past. Think of the future. Build up the future. And why keep hemming and hawing over the same thing over and over and over again? And they say, you must give me land because my grandfather was a slave. Well, then I would say, for God's sakes, find the man who had your grandfather as a slave and then demand the land from him. Don't bother me because I had no part of it.
Few people would be willing to make amends for the actions of ancestors they never knew, for evils committed long before their time. So our survey is about people who are here today. Across the country, we asked whites whether the main reason Negroes had not made more progress was because of racial discrimination or because Negroes have not worked hard enough.
All right, before there is something I want to say, and that is very important. Now, you heard what she said. She heard about the history of slavery, right? It means some of them do not even know the history. They did not read the history. They do not exactly know what happened. It was probably a story they told them, right? See, education is elevation. Before you talk about something or something you don't know, you really must be sure that this is accurate. You don't come out and say, like, I heard. You should be no. Okay, now let's ask. She said she heard her ancestors, and she went further to say, how is she going to do, how is she going to pay something for what her ancestors did? And now I am going to ask her, say this. She probably does not know that she is an extension of her ancestors, right? If her grandparents were slaveholders, right? It means she benefited from that. Not just, okay, directly benefited from that, right? And now let's talk about all the things, all the labors they did the slaves did in United States for free. Are you a citizen? You are still, as a white person, you are benefiting from that thing. The people you call Negroes, the people you call lazy, the people you say they have low moral standards. It was what you are enjoying at this point in time are the things they built and are still building. So sometimes I am marveled at their ignorance people can exhibit, because like a person that understands what slavery is and how it works, we definitely know that even if my ancestors are no longer here, I benefited from the things they did to Black people. So for that reason, you all owe Black people reparation. The earlier you people understand this, the better for you. Anyways, this is where I am gonna stop. This is where I'm. There are stories I wanted to like go further to give examples with but then I think I'm gonna stop here. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. I appreciate you all for coming back. And you know what? See you all in my next video. Go follow my backup plan channel, please. I am pleading. See you all. Bye for now.